get Kyle Pitts the ball in week 3.
You spent the 4th overall pick of the 2021 draft on this guy. You didn't take Jamar Chase, you didn't take Jalen Waddle, you didn't take Marcus Parsons. You could have had any of them. Instead, you spent it on Kyle Pitts to do what? We can plead, we can do a fundraiser. Do you need to do a GoFundMe? What does it take to Kyle Pitts the ball? That's what I need to ask you. What do we need to do to get Kyle Pitts the ball?
You throw to Brian Edwards in double coverage at Jalen Ramsey. When you got Kyle Pitts over there, just all by his lonesome, in single coverage. Now you say it's not fantasy football, and I understand that. You said you're trying to win. What did you win? You won nothing. You want to win? Put Kyle Pitts in.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Happy Friday. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. Never wrong, just early. Lawrence Jackson, Kyle Pitts, Truthers drink for free today. That's right. You want to win. Hopefully you put in Kyle Pitts in the opening round of the Fantasy Football Playoffs. My goodness, fellas.
He was in last night. He definitely was in.
I like how it says Truthers as well. So Kyle Pitts has been a conspiracy that Oliver Stone would do a movie about. He has felt very much like that the past few years.
Good game for that young man last night. You know,
pretty decent. 166, 3 touchdowns.
When you say, "Hey man, we're gonna take you 4th overall," that's what you get, right? That's what you want right there. And you know, Connor, I think the stats aside of it, I think how he did it was he looked like what they thought he would be, making contest. It wasn't just busted coverages.
I agree.
He made contested catches. He made the great catch in the end zone for his 2nd touchdown where his butt barely stayed in. Like, just making plays. Looked like he was as good as Bijan Robinson yesterday. So
he looked like the true mismatch weapon that we were hoping for a long time.
Yeah, that was, I thought, an instructive play where I think it's 3rd down, Bucks blitz, Cousins off his back foot, and just tosses it up over the middle because he knows that Kyle Pitts is just bigger than the guy.
That was a good throw by
Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
It's like, why haven't we seen this for the past half decade from Kyle Pitts? But he delivered last night. It's crazy. We've got stuff in the rundown, like best fantasy performances of all time. Kyle Pitts.
It's pretty ridiculous.
I mean, if you win against Kyle Pitts in fantasy this week, you're hurting right now. You're not going to sleep for the next 2-3 nights.
You're shaking your fist at the sky. How did this happen to me?
You like, why?
Brian Hickman said Kyle Pitts finally hits, and Barry is where?
He's literally in a gutter in Las Vegas.
It is a fair question. It's a little ironic.
Yeah.
Matthew's not here after the historic night from Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, we don't know. And so the facts are Matthew was in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, whether that was in direct response to Kyle Pitts going ballistic, we don't know. But that is where he is at the moment. That is the fact.
All right, let's get into the Roto World player news. And don't worry, we got plenty to do on this Friday. We will answer your questions as we always do on What's on Tap. Jay and I have some pickup lines for Lawrence. Denny's going to join the show for your flexual frustrations, but let's start with Thursday night.
45.6. Is that what Jonathan Taylor did in Berlin?
Folks, this is not a typo.
Jamar Chase against the Steelers level production. Yes, the notable fantasy performances. Think about how many people had him on their bench in the first round of the fantasy football playoffs.
I can tell you this, Connor. I wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, I got him in about 5 leagues, including our league, the League of Assholes, where I actually got a bye. But you know what? I'm not even mad.
Sign of things to come, maybe.
I just want to say, the Atlanta Falcons their defense is not bad. Like, it's an okay defense. It has its weaknesses, can't stop the run, etc. But it's not a dreadful defense. Right. You have Bijan Robinson, who I think is the best running back in football because of his diversity. Him, Gibbs, Taylor, whatever. But he's one of the 3 best, I think. You have Drake London, superstar wide receiver. You have Kyle Pitts, who just put up 45.6 fantasy points. You have a good offensive line. And the team came into last night at 4-9. Like, this season is just ridiculous. How were they 3 games back at the Panthers going into last night? It was a kind of a reminder of what could have been with this season. Because you look at the play, it's like, this team has so much talent. And yet, 4-9 in the NFC South going into last night.
I always think of them, and you probably can attest to this too, Connor. I always think of the Falcons as like a little bit better version of the Jets. But actually, the Jets beat them. So I don't know who's better now.
Which is crazy because when they started out the year so hot, and it was a short amount of time, but they were impressive. And when they beat the Bills and everything like that, you're looking at, okay, this defense has all this young talent. And when they run play action, Penix looked comfortable. And you have Bijan. And it just, when it all fell apart, it all caved in at once.
They crushed the Bills. They were one play away from beating both the Pats and the Colts when the Colts were rolling.
Yep.
Like, this shouldn't be a team that is 5-9
had
now.
to find ways to win. And you look at the rest of their schedule right here. Week 16, they got the Cardinals. That should be another nice matchup for Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, and Drake London if he's able to get back there. They got the Rams after that. That'll be tough, but you expect them to be probably more than a touchdown favorite in that game. So, yeah, very weird season for the Atlanta Falcons when you got 5 wins and one of them is the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, and that first week against the Bucs, they missed a field goal, as we see here from looks like Vinny. Kyle Pitts broke out before we got GTA 6. That's a 10 out of 10.
Unbelievable.
It's true.
Yeah.
No denying it.
I think everything happened in before that.
It definitely feels that way. As we look at the best fantasy performances by a tight end in NFL history, phenomenal job by our team here that works on the show to dig this up.
So this is a better game than Antonio Gates ever had in his career. Gonzalez, it's just
best one since 1996, which is
Rob Gronkowski never had a game like this.
I'll tell you too, like, it's funny because going into this week, heading out of week 15, there's not a way that Kyle Pitts is going to be less than 4th in the NFL in tight end receiving yards. The only one he won't be ahead of is Trey McBride.
Yeah.
So collectively he's put together his best season. So then you got, like, look at it. The past 2 games before this, he had at least 6 catches for 80 yards. I think Matthew had him on the love list last week too. So it's been brewing, especially when there's no Drake London. When there's no Drake London, you should have been starting Kyle Pitts, and we've talked about that on this show. And I just think when all the things aligned, Kirk Cousins playing the Bucs, the Tampa Bay Bucs having the 4th worst passing defense in the league, then it all comes together. You get this.
Do you think he's a bad match with Penix's skill set?
I thought they actually had some good games together. Yeah. I think it is a little bit more the Drake London fact. Drake London ate up so much of the volume in this offense with Penix, and he would do the same with Cousins. That it's almost like you look at the snap count of this game, his pivot. He played 31 snaps in line, like a real tight end, but then he played 23 in the slot and still played 9 at outside wide receiver.
Yeah.
So when you look at, like,
which
I don't think
about right.
I don't know if those 9 outside wide receiver snaps exist if Drake London's healthy.
Sure.
In this game.
Probably not.
So is he viable and usable if London comes back? Yeah,
but
for
sure.
This level of elite tight end production. By the way, the 5 touchdowns in a game that Kellen Winslow caught is the NFL record. He's tied with Bob Shaw and Jerry Rice. So, Kyle Pitts was right under that in terms of fantasy
points. We're
points.
mentioning Kyle Pitts with Jerry Rice and Kellen Winslow. The real Kellen Winslow, the first Kellen Winslow.
The original.
Yeah.
The original
Chubla.
Yes, how it makes its way back. Despite all of this, effect of all of this, Kirk Cousins, classic Kirk Cousins against the Bucs, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, Lawrence, is there anything to take away here in terms of sustainability, or is this the classic case of he does it again against Tampa?
Look, if you're in a super flex situation, you should have been smart enough to start him in this matchup, just going in knowing Tampa Bay is a bottom 5 pass defense in the league, knowing that Kirk Cousins in his last 3 games against the Bucs averages 386 passing yards and averages 3.5 touchdown passes versus this Bucs defense. You see it here on the screen, but next week, again, they're playing the Cardinals. Should be a good matchup, but there have been other good matchups for Kirk Cousins and the Falcons, and it hasn't gone so well. So, you have to temper your you have to bring those expectations back down. But nonetheless, it's a good showing. And don't we just wish Kirk Cousins could play the Bucs every single week?
Yeah, he'd be elite. How about this one from Pitts My Pants? Does this game mean I can finally trade Pitts in Dynasty for a solid return this offseason? By the way, Kyle Pitts is a free agent.
I think so. It's about when you strike, right? It's like you'd have to, you have to trade. You have to think before or after if he potentially gets to that new team. If he goes to a team like, I don't know, the Cowboys or the Chiefs. Or Cowboys got a tight end, but I'm just throwing team
Chiefs
names out there.
interesting.
You get him on a team like that, then you really could go trade him. But even if he ends the season like he has been these past 3 games, I think his value is as high as it's been since his rookie year, to be honest, in Dynasty.
Yeah, as far as Cousins goes, I think this is largely about the matchup. You got a Bucs defense that can't generate a pass rush without blitzing. The corners, Jamel Dean got banged up briefly, came back in. McCollum went down, didn't come back. Like, they just don't have the horses. And also, they couldn't stop the run either. Bijan was doing what he wanted. So it's like, what can you do? What can you actually do?
No.
And it felt like what Bowles fell back on was, you just got to blitz him every time. And that's what they were doing down the end. And Cousins was good enough to make the throws. And now the Bucs are looking up at the Panthers in the NFC South because you couldn't stop Kirk Cousins from converting 3rd and 28.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.